Zombie Apocalypse.
What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. This is 6 Scale Economist, and today we're going to be talking about IG-11 from the Mandalorian. So actually, first I wanted to start this one from the secret base from, live photos that we have. I didn't know exactly what to think about this figure when I first saw it. So, obviously, he's, a very important character in the show. For those of you who haven't seen the show, I don't know how you have not seen the show. Amazing. But he played, a very important role. He was an awesome character. I mean, The Mandalorian is fantastic, but the arc that they did with this figure, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Mandalorian, don't listen, but the fact that they had him be, an evil character that was, turned good, and then, but The Mandalorian also has, some, confliction with droids, not trusting them, so there's that interesting dynamic, and his whole character arc of being very important to protecting Baby Yoda, and at the end actually saving the whole team, and dying to protect Baby Yoda, and also adding in some humor with that's CPU joke that he made with the Mandalorian at the end. This figure in the show was so awesome, and I loved everything about this character. But this figure, for some reason, it's just not totally doing it for me. And I think I'm going to get some backlash to this one because I think I'm in the minority. But, it's just, kind of a basic-looking figure. Although the character is much cooler, I think, than the figure represents. So, taking a look at the pictures from Sideshow, I just don't love, the design of, IG units look like. I think they look cool. But, there's not, a whole lot to it. Obviously it doesn't have, a face or anything. It's, the color is, very, it's just, the same all the way throughout. So it doesn't really help it, stand out that much. The details looks cool, and, the wires and stuff. It's also is, a skinny figure. So, on its own, it doesn't, totally wow me. And I wish it did more because I just love how much what they did with this character in the show. Damn, Mandalorian is such a good show. They give so much. They just gave so much feeling to this figure and so much character. It really felt like a human, and they just it's awesome that Star Wars was able to give that much character development to a droid. But at $251, let's just talk about it from an investment standpoint. I don't know. Am I wrong? I think it's steep. I think it's steep at $251. I imagine it's a tall figure, so that is probably one of the reasons why this figure costs so much. But he's kind of basic. He's kind of thin. Doesn't seem like he comes with a whole lot. I actually didn't really notice, but they don't do the image in this gallery of everything that he comes with. I don't know if that's because they haven't announced everything, but I would have liked to have seen the cradle thing that he holds with a Baby Yoda in it. I know we don't need any more Hot Toys Baby Yodas just because we're already gonna get so many, but I would have liked to have seen that. I would have liked to have seen some additional accessory. Obviously, I imagine the reason why they didn't do that was because this figure, was announced before, I think it was announced before the episode came out. So, obviously we didn't know that, he was going to, turn to be, a good robot who was, a protector of Baby Yoda or anything. But it just doesn't come with that much, and it's not a cheap price point, and it's a thin figure that doesn't screen that unique to me. But with that being said, what does help this figure from an investment perspective is this. He is going to go very well next to the Mandalorian. This is definitely a figure that you can display with the Mandalorian. And that's one of the things I talk about a lot in my videos. That's an important thing to analyze when you're trying to think about how these figures are going to do in the secondary market, is what figures can this go well with. And having this paired with the Mandalorian holding Baby Yoda, or maybe you could find a way to have the IG unit holding Baby Yoda with the Mandalorian, that's gonna look sweet on your display shelf. So that's one aspect that I like about this figure, and why I'm still torn, and I haven't pre-ordered it yet. And this is probably one of the ones that I'm probably gonna wait and try and make a game time decision as it approaches closer to going waitlist on whether I think that this is a figure that's going to spike in the secondary market, and I need to pick it up now to avoid having regrets about not picking it up once if it ends up being like a $400 figure. As of right now, all things considered, do I think it's going to happen this one? I don't think that this is going to be a figure that's going to like skyrocket or anything, but I'm also not going to be surprised if this figure is like a $330 figure in the secondary market. I don't think it's going to be a figure that's going to cross the $400 threshold. Generally I usually have like more evidence and reasoning behind why I think some figures are going to go up or down, but this one I'm more just speculating, unfortunately, and that's a lot of it is because like we haven't seen how the Mandalorian figures have done yet and how the supply side looks on the that run. But in terms of like the character on its own, like I just don't think that many people are going to reach and need this one in their collection at a crazy price point. At retail, I obviously a lot of people are picking up this figure. A lot of people are picking up the entire Mandalorian run, but at 251, I don't absolutely need this figure. If it came with more accessories, I would probably consider it a lot more, but as it is now, it's probably just not doing it for me, so I'm just gonna make a game time decision. So for any of you that are on the fence similar to how I am, usually I generally make my decision pretty quick on whether or not I'm gonna pick up a figure and try not to stay on the fence. But this one I'm just so torn on, I'm just gonna wait, hold out, and make a game time decision. And maybe I could be wrong, and this figure ends up being a $400 figure once it sells out, because maybe they didn't stock it that much, everybody really wants this figure to pose the Mandalorian, and in that case, I'll just have to eat my words and pay up in the secondary market. But I don't think that this figure is going to be one that, I need to reach for right now. And I'm just going to keep holding out and see what happens, because this isn't like other figures for me. This isn't a free option. I think this figure does have potential downside. And, I don't want to get burned on a figure that, I am already on the fence about. For any of you that might probably know this, I think one of the worst feelings with collecting Hot Toys is being on the fence about a figure, deciding to just buy it, and then once you buy it, you get it in person, you realize you still I just don't really like it that much, and on top of it, it's not doing well in the secondary market, and now you're gonna have to sell it at 80% of what you paid for it. So now you bought a figure that you're already on the fence about, you end up not liking it, and then you have to sell it and lose money on it. This is a bad feeling, and for right now, I think I'm just gonna ride it out and wait as we get closer to the release date. But those are only my thoughts. Please let me know what you guys think about this figure in the comment section. Let me know if you think I'm just totally wrong and this figure is an absolute must pick up, and you think that this figure is totally going to do well on the secondary market. Always happy to hear everybody's feedback. But this is 6 Scale Economist, and we'll see you in the next video.